With KBD News Conversations, I'm Sarah Colvin. The annual Against the Tide event is coming up on Saturday, August 18th at Nickerson State Park to benefit the Mass Breast Cancer Coalition. I have a lovely group of ladies joining me today to talk about this event and the hard work of the Mass Breast Cancer Coalition. To my left, Betty Anne Bevis, who is the statewide chair of the Against the Tide events. Betty Anne, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Cheryl Osimo, who is the executive director of the Mass Breast Cancer Coalition and the founder of Silent Spring Institute. Cheryl, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And Judy Johnson-Ulcht of Hyannis Toyota, the customer relations manager. Judy, thank you so much for joining me here today. So Cheryl, I want to start with you. Talk a little bit about the mission of the Mass Breast Cancer Coalition.
The mission of the Mass Breast Cancer Coalition is education and outreach and public policy. As you know, we have many challenges that we're faced with. We work closely with our sister organization, Silent Spring Institute. They do the research, and we do the education, the outreach, and public policy. And so we're working hard towards the goal of prevention. Many breast cancer organizations do fabulous work, but I do believe that we are the only organization locally and nationally that focuses specifically on the prevention of breast cancer, which, by the way, we hope will lend a hand in helping us to figure out what causes such high elevated rates of other types of cancer and ill health.
Sure, and here on Cape Cod we continue to see those numbers really be elevated, be larger than the rest of the state and really in the nation, and trying to figure out why that's happening certainly is important work, and the important work of the Mass Breast Cancer Coalition. Can you kind of paint me a picture as to what it looks like here on Cape Cod in terms of breast cancer?
The elevated rates continue to be high. We're doing what we can to minimize the incidence of breast cancer by trying to figure out what's causing it. We've done a lot of testing, air, dust, urine testing in years past. We started out with our geographic information system of 2,500 women back in about over 2 decades ago, comparing with women who had been diagnosed with breast cancer, women who didn't have breast cancer, to do kind of a comparative study. And presently we're working with the NIEHS, National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences, with a team of scientists from University of Rhode Island, Harvard University, and Silent Spring Institute, MBCC sister organization, and Sierra Club and the Mass Breast Cancer Coalition are the community partners for this work that we are beginning. And actually the big launch is today, where we are reaching out to citizens in Hyannis and Barnstable. We're going to be testing 50 wells over the next 5 years to be testing for PFAS, which has been a real problem on Cape Cod. And of course we have those other emerging contaminants that we need to be paying attention to. And our work at MBCC, and Betty Anne Bevis has been really instrumental in this as well, is to lobby our state legislators to make sure that we get the funding we need from the state so they can help us. It's not up just to the federal government. We need our local officials to help us to get the funds we need, because we have water issues, water problems all over the state of Massachusetts. All of us deserve to be drinking clean water. And this is really a very serious issue that we're faced with presently.
And as we learn more about the emerging contaminants and the effects that long-term effects that they have on us as the EPA kind of changes its levels, you know, we see that happening right here on Cape Cod, where certain wells in the town of Barnstable had been tested, discovered some of those levels of PFAS determined to have been coming from the fire academy in the firefighting foam that they use. These contaminants also come from fire retardant clothing and materials, so it's things that we put in our washing machine, things that we use on a daily basis in our homes that go into our water stream. And because Cape Cod has that single source aquifer, the sandy soil, the high groundwater table, it's just like, oh, I don't want to say a recipe for disaster, but certainly when we're looking at what is in our water and the importance of clean water, it's important for us to know what's in it so that we can stop putting it in that water supply.
Absolutely. And I hope that citizens will take advantage of this wonderful opportunity to have their wells tested free of charge. They simply have to call Dr. Shader at Silent Spring at 617-332-4288. And Dr. Shader and also Allison McCain at University of Rhode Island are the people that will be spearheading this project. And we invite people to come and meet the scientists on June 7th at the Town Hall in Hyannis. It will be a day of educating the public, educating Cape citizens about the work that we are doing with the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences.
Wonderful. Betty Anne, I want to bring you into the conversation. I know that you have a history of activism when it comes to breast cancer. Share a little bit of your story.
Well, I got, excuse me, I got involved, I think it was 2006. I had gone through breast cancer treatments in 2003 and was going to UMass Boston at the time. And Cheryl came into our women's studies class, and that's where I met Cheryl. And I learned so much in that class about the environmental issues. I mean, I've always been aware, but it just kind of opened my eyes, and did a lot of study with environmental things going through my undergraduate program. And I told Cheryl, I'm going to find you when I'm done. And I graduated, I think, in 2000, maybe it was 2004 or something, from UMass. And I found her.
I'm so glad you did.
Yeah, and it's been a journey. I mean, I've learned so much, but also it's, you know, going through treatments for breast cancer really opened my eyes of, I really didn't know that it was so high on Cape Cod. I mean, I was late for my mammogram only because my doctor was going to probably get after me because I hadn't gone for it. And I went, and thank God I went at that time, because I found out, because they said if I had gone 6 months earlier, I might not have. And then who knows when I would have done the next one. Because I'm like, yeah, you know what? I don't need to go, you know.
And really speaking to that awareness, you know, it's important
Right.
for us to continue to spread the awareness so that people like you are a little more aware of how a mammogram is important.
Right, it is important. And then it was important for me to I tried going to the pink ribbon events, but it just wasn't for me. I just needed to find something different, because I was more involved with the environment and what was going on in the environment. And I remember Mitch Michaels came down and did a whole, it was on Channel 4 News, remember that? It was really, I mean, there was so many people interested because of what was going on in Cape Cod, and it's still going on. So I've gone up to Boston. I went up, I think it was in January this year, and it was disappointing for me because we didn't see anybody. We saw all their aides, but none of the legislators. They were all in a meeting, or, you know, trying to make appointments with them was really hard. And I felt like they didn't want to hear it. I really felt like it was, you know, I'm just another one of those people, you know.
Right.
And but it was disappointing, and I think we need to start, as people on Cape Cod, looking at that and seeing we need to vote people in that are going to help us. So.
And making sure our voices are loud enough so that the legislators hear and say, I do need to pay
And it's not just mass breast cancer, it's everybody. You know, I mean, yeah, I'm affiliated with it, but we need to start looking at that. We need to go, wait a minute, we need someone in here that's going to help us get to the root of this and help us figure out what's going on, because there's a lot going on that people don't know. I mean, you can read in the paper yesterday about the whole water thing in Hyannis. I mean, how many people don't know about that?
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely, and the
So.
things that need to be
And
done.
it's going on other places in Massachusetts also.
Right,
so.
all across Massachusetts,
Right.
really all across the country,
Right,
in terms of
exactly.
now that
Yeah,
we're aware,
right.
more aware of these emerging contaminants. The EPA is testing, they've raised their limits. We're finding a little bit more out about what is in our water.
Right,
And
and there's other
certainly-
groups out there. I mean, you have them outside on your board there that are looking at our aquafilter too. I mean, what's going on with the water on Cape Cod, so
Absolutely.
we need to do something.
Indeed.
Yep.
And so, Judy, tell me a little bit about how you got involved with all of this too.
Okay, Cheryl, you're up again. Actually, Cheryl came to my boss, Brian Scapolini, a few years back and asked if we would get involved. And, you know, Brian's family, my family, everyone knows someone who's been involved or been touched by it or had an experience with it. And the high incidence of the Cape, especially as you get out towards Orleans, where it's a little more desolate, we wanted to get involved. Cheryl would not let us get involved. So we got involved with the project at that point in time. I am not from the area, but there's a lot of things that I noticed that, you know, were kept very quiet about Cape Cod. One is the opioid issue that, again, is coming to light. The other is the water, and there are a lot of things that are politically incorrect to bring up on Cape Cod, and I think the water is definitely an issue. I think it's important that people know what we're exposing ourselves and our children to. Not only, we don't even know what the effects will be on children with some of these contaminants. I worked at one point in time for Falmouth Toyota, which was very close to the base.
With all of the water runoff from there and a very high cancer cluster outside of there as well, not only breast, but many different types of cancer.
Sure, you and sarcoma and the kids.
Everything, and I think it's important for people to know what's going on in the area we live in. I live off Cape, but I work on Cape. I'm one of the people that discovered the water situation with Hyannis by accident when they came in and told us not to drink it. Only children and pregnant people shouldn't drink it. But if it's not good for them, obviously, it's not good for anybody else.
Certainly.
So that was my goal. I have a little bit of an activist nature to begin with, and I just think it's important that people be aware of what, if we could prevent this, we don't need to cure it. Let's spend the money on preventing it and not having people go through these horrible cancers.
So well said, Judy. So
Isn't
well
it
said.
beautiful? Yep.
And I guess one big thing that you do need to do in order to continue your mission is raise money, and so that's why you hold events like the Against the Tide coming up. You have the event in Hopkinton on June 16th, and then here on Cape Cod at beautiful Nickerson State Park on August 18th. And this is just an amazing event. I got to go for the first time last year, and it was so fun to see everybody getting together and paddling and swimming, running, walking, kayaking. I mean, there is an event for everyone. So tell us, Cheryl, and I'll start with you, about Against the Tide.
It's exciting. This is our 19th year on Cape Cod at Nickerson State Park at Flax Pond, and it's our 26th year in Hopkinton. So this event has really taken off. It started as just a swim and then evolved with all these different components. We're so lucky to have Goose Hummock here on Cape Cod, who has generously donated the kayaks and the paddle boards. We have so many wonderful sponsors, Attorney John Minogue, Toyota of Orleans, and its sister office of Hyannis, where I take my car, which enables me to meet with everybody on a regular basis.
Exactly.
And we are just so thankful to you, Sarah Colvin, for being our paddleboard leader this year. We've added a paddleboard component, which will begin at 7:30, and I'm very proud and happy to say that both Betty Anne and Sarah will be our paddleboard leaders. And then Sarah, allow me, please, to say that will be our celebrity leader of the pack.
Yes, I'm
for
looking
the
forward
Falmouth
to
Road
that.
Race the day after. So you truly are an athlete.
I guess I'm going to have to get my running shoes on.
2 days in a row. 2 days in a row.
It's going to be a big weekend, but thankfully there's a couple of months I have left to prepare. But I'm
Yeah.
and thank you, Cheryl. I'm very honored to
Oh,
be the paddleboard
we're
leader.
honored.
Betty Ann's going to give me some paddleboarding tips. I think we'll go out and
Good.
enjoy some of the Cape's
Yeah.
fine waterways
Right.
before the event, and then of course the Falmouth Road Race, which is very exciting.
Yes.
And if I may, I know that MBCC is looking for people to join the team.
Yes.
We do have bibs for the Falmouth Road
Yes.
Race. So if people who are watching want to run with me, run for MBCC and raise some money, how do they do that?
Just give us a call at 1-800-649-6222. And people can always reach me at my email address. I share it with everyone, Cheryl Osimo, CHERYLOSIMO, at Comcast.net. I'm happy to receive emails from anybody regarding any questions about how to reach Dr. Shader, how to get involved with the Against the Tide. And by the way, the Against the Tide is a morning-only event. Starts at 7:30. You can pre-register at mbcc.org/swim, or you can walk in the day of. Kids under 10 are free. Students $25 per event. After 18 and over, it's, well, actually, if you're a college student, it's $25.
Oh, that's great.
Adults, $40. So if you're swimming, $40. If you're walking and swimming, $80. If you're walking, swimming, and kayaking, it's $120. It's a lot of fun. We invite people that want to do the recreational component or the competitive component. We have the 5 and 10K USATF run. We have the 8:30 competitive swim and the 9:30 competitive, recreational swim. There's so many components, I can't remember all
Well,
of
and
them.
I love the a la carte nature of it too. So you can do all of them, you can do one of them, you can do two of them, however many you feel like doing that day.
Very exciting. Toyota will be on the beach. Trader Joe's will be on the beach. Dunkin' Donuts is donating coffee and bagels as well.
Ben and Jerry's.
Ben and Jerry's
Yeah,
will be
that
on
was
the
good.
beach. And then we also have, of course, CODCOM, our wonderful, wonderful radio station that's been with us for so many years. And Maddie B, who's our famous celebrity who swims.
Maddie B from Pixie 103. Yep,
Pixie
he does a
103.
great job. He's
Yep.
an amazing MC, just an all-around good guy.
He is.
So what are you guys looking forward to the most from Against the Tide? Betty Anne, I'll start with you.
I think what I look forward to is seeing everybody that comes every year too, and also meeting new people. My favorite part is the honor, what is it?
The mural of
the
honor.
mural of honor.
Yes, thank you, Betty Ann.
People get to, express their thanks and gratitude, and for the people that are going through breast cancer or that have been lost to breast cancer, and it's really nice to read those.
It really is.
Yeah.
It was quite memorable last year to see
Yeah.
that. Very touching.
Right, it is very touching. That was the first thing I worked when I started.
Great.
Was the mural, and it just touched my heart.
It's wonderful to see the messages and people are allowed to write messages. It's great. Cheryl, what are you looking forward to?
I look forward to meeting the families that we've been working with throughout the years, new friends who come to us. We get calls all the time from women who are newly diagnosed. It's frankly difficult to talk about. The people who come who've lost a loved one, that's hard. But it's a morning of joy because we're coming together as a team to continue our work, to work towards prevention. And I've said so many times, and I will continue to say it, this is not a job for our children or grandchildren. This is our work.
Right, right.
Great.
Absolutely. And Judy,
Great.
for you.
Well, I think that's part of it for me is seeing the families that do come out to support the community involvement, the involvement of the Boy Scouts, the fire department, the police officers, everybody that comes out to make the event outstanding. Just watching everybody work together as a group, kind of like a little beehive, if you will, of people moving things around and parking, and everybody, even if you don't know somebody, you're working with somebody, helping them set up a tent or moving something here, talking to people while you're doing the walk, finding out personal experiences, that kind of thing.
Everybody has a
It's
story.
touching.
Everybody has a story. Yeah,
It's
it
touching.
does. You feel good. It makes you feel good.
Absolutely.
Can I share a little story?
Please do.
So I remember the first year, 19 years ago. I looked into the water and there was a mom with a baby in a beautiful big giant yellow tube, and there was a grandmother. It looked like it was a grandmother. And through the years, I watched this same family come back over and over again, and eventually they introduced themselves to me. I could tell they were private, they were quiet, I didn't want to be intrusive. And I watched this baby grow into a teenager, through high school, through college, and got to know this family. And every year now, the grandmother, the mother, and the grandchild come. This is what brings tears to my eyes. The mother has gone through metastatic breast cancer. I feel like I go through it with them. You know, she's okay, she metastasizes. She's okay, she metastasizes. The family's gone through death, the families go, but they are our extended family. No matter what's going on in their lives, they know that we are working together as a team. You form bonds. Yeah. On the other hand, there are athletes that come and we welcome them. They're there because they want to be participating in a USATF run, and they generate that kind of energy that we need as well. So I think it's an event for everyone. That's what I wanted to share. It's an event for everyone, kids, young, old. We welcome volunteers. We thank you, Sarah, for your commitment, and Betty Ann and Judy, our heroes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And if you want to sign up for Against the Tide, it's mbcc.org/swim, or you can call 800-649-MBCC. The Against the Tide paddle, swim, run, walk, kayak is taking place on Saturday, June 16th in Hopkinton, and then here on Cape Cod on Saturday, August 18th at beautiful Nickerson State Park. Again, to sign up, mbcc.org/swim. Judy Johnson, Cheryl Osimo, Betty Anne Bevis, thank you all so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you in Nickerson State Park on August 18th for Cape Media News Conversations. I'm Sarah Colvin.